Hey, 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 ladies, welcome back. Dr. Nick here, wellness coach and wholeness advocate, and you are listening to Holistic Mental Health for Women Solopreneurs, where we prioritize our wellness so we can create sustainable impact without burning out. All right. So, last episode, y'all heard me talking about the struggles I've been having on my weight loss journey and how those same struggles can show up in business. If you haven't heard that one yet, definitely go back and check it out. In today's episode, I want to share a step I took to ground myself and make some progress that I feel good about. I joined a 30-day Hot Pilates challenge. As I'm recording this episode, I'm on day 19, over halfway there. And let me tell you, I joined this challenge because I needed some very specific, targeted goals to focus myself, keep my body moving, and my spirit encouraged, even though I wasn't seeing the evidence of my hard work that I wanted to. And this challenge is doing all I wanted it to do and more. I'm already starting to feel a major shift, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, relationally, and spiritually. There's something about making a committed decision alongside other people, right? It's powerful. This challenge has become such a motivator for me. It has given me something concrete to show up for. It's reminded me that sometimes we don't need to have the whole 12-month plan figured out. We don't need to know every step. Sometimes we just need a clear commitment. Sometimes we just need a very specific container. We need to make a very real decision. Accountability and community help also. And sometimes we need someone else showing up alongside us to remind us that we're not in it by ourselves. I know how powerful this is because I've been going through this 30-day challenge with my fabulous new friend and accountability partner, Shikari Anderson. Shout out to you, girl. I so appreciate you so much. Y'all, Shikari has been killing it. She showed up and announced this challenge in a group that I'm in. And there was just something about the challenge itself that grabbed me. And I knew I had to lock in with her. She's a phenomenal woman, and we were total strangers prior to this 30-day Pilates challenge. But now I feel like she's forever one of my girls because we're doing this together, celebrating each other and encouraging one another along the way. Having her to go through this with me has been a game changer. And today, I want to talk about the power of showing up together. I want to talk about what this 30-day Hot Pilates challenge is teaching me about consistency, community, and commitment. And I want to connect it to what it means to build a business, pursue a dream, and become a more sustainable solopreneur. Listen, if there's one thing I know, it's this: the community around you could make or break you. We may be solopreneurs, yes, but we do not have to build in isolation. So, before I talk about the challenge itself, I want to talk about the place I was in when I said yes to the challenge. I was battling with not seeing the results I wanted to see. I was dealing with grief from the loss of my dear friend. And if you know anything about grief, you know it can be incredibly difficult to show up in the same ways you previously did prior to experiencing that loss. I said yes to the challenge because I was feeling frustrated and tired of feeling stuck. I really felt like I was losing momentum. And if you've heard any of my previous episodes from this year, you know that's kind of how I was feeling pretty much this whole year in every area of my life. I was trying to get myself back on track, but I couldn't quite find the rhythm that worked for me, one that I was able to stick with. Now, some of that is understandable, right? Because it's important to give ourselves grace when life is happening and our capacity is changing. It can be hard though, especially when you know what it feels like to make progress when you've experienced momentum before, right? Typically, I'm a pretty focused and consistent and clear person. But when something shifts, like suddenly shifts, I find myself sometimes struggling because things can get topsy turvy. You know, you may know what this is like. You're trying to come back from a stressful situation. You may be trying to come back to some semblance of quote normal after experiencing a deep loss. You're trying to return to your regular rhythms. You're trying to feel at home in your own body again. Trying to figure out what works for where you are right now with the capacity that you have. Sometimes we're struggling because we're trying to use an old system or strategy in a new season that we're in. And because our bodies, our business, our lives, and our nervous systems have changed, we can tend to struggle because we're still expecting ourselves to operate like nothing has changed, like nothing shifted for us. And that was part of what I had to face. I wanted my body to respond the same way. I wanted to feel strong. I wanted to feel energized and I wanted to be consistent. I wanted to feel like I was continuing to move forward toward my goals. But I also had to be real, you guys. I had to be real about what was really going on in my life and what I could truly handle. I needed something that would help me stop spinning through all the emotions, transitions, and decision fatigue so I could start showing up again. It didn't have to be perfect. I didn't have to show up obsessively. It wasn't like I was punishing myself, but I needed to show up with some intention. All of this and more is what this 30-day Hot Pilates challenge at Hot Works is giving me. Clear focus, 30 days, one decision, one commitment, one place to practice showing up. Hot Works. Shout out to my people at Hot Works Little Rock on Highway 10. I love it there so much. But listen, there is power in this because sometimes your next best aligned step is not a massive overhaul. It's simply you choosing one thing, one focus that helps you rebuild trust with yourself and keeps you in the process rather than abandoning everything. And ladies, let me tell you, all of this that I'm talking about applies to business too. Because sometimes when you feel stuck in your business or when you're pursuing your dreams, you don't need to reinvent your whole plan, your whole vision, your whole branding. You don't need to scrap all the ideas. Sometimes you just need one clear commitment, one consistent rhythm or system that works for you, that you can stick to, one area where you can keep showing up, one small step that helps you rebuild your momentum. One of the biggest lessons I'm already learning from this challenge is the power of a committed decision. There is something that happens when you stop negotiating with yourself every day. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying to be rigid and to live life with no flexibility. If you're like me, flexibility is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about building my own vision. I believe in honoring capacity. I believe in listening to your body. I believe in building rhythms that do not break you. But there's a difference between honoring your capacity and constantly reopening a decision that needs to be closed, right? You must have a foundation, boundaries, margins set up for yourself that becomes so familiar to you, it becomes easier to determine where and when you can be flexible. Sometimes we exhaust ourselves not by doing the thing, but by deciding every day whether or not we are going to do the thing. Am I going today? Do I feel like it today? Should I wait until tomorrow? All of these things. Maybe I'm too busy. Maybe I need a better plan. Maybe I need more motivation. Maybe I need to watch a few more videos, learn a few more lessons, research a few more things. And before you know it, decision fatigue has taken all the energy you needed for the actual commitment. But when you make a committed decision, something shifts. The question becomes less of, am I doing this? And more of, how am I going to support myself as I do this? That's a different question. Listen, I don't feel wildly motivated every day to keep my commitment. If I was going off of motivation, there's no way I would have made it to day 19 of this challenge. I don't have to feel amazing every day. I don't have to feel like the most disciplined woman in the room. I just have to come back to the decision. I decided to do this. I decided to show up. I decided to give myself 30 days. I decided to see what consistency could produce for me. And listen, solopreneurs, dream pursuit people, people going after your vision, this is a powerful lesson for you because so many of us are waiting to feel ready. We're waiting to feel inspired, confident, clear, and perfectly prepared before we show up consistently. Problem is, confidence often comes after the commitment. Clarity comes as you move. Consistency comes from reducing the number of times you allow yourself to renegotiate with fear. There are some decisions in your business that you need to stop reopening every day. Send the newsletter, host that live session, start the podcast, create the community. Maybe you decided to build the business slowly and sustainably instead of constantly disappearing and restarting. Because listen, I've been there and that is hard. At some point, stop questioning yourself. Stop delaying your start. Stop talking yourself out of it. Start asking, how do I support the decision I've already made? That's where systems come in, community comes in, and accountability. But even more than all of that, grace. Committed decisions need support. And that brings me to one of the sweetest parts of this challenge so far. My new friend, Shikari, that I mentioned earlier, her encouragement has meant so much. She's been hyping me up, sharing my posts, because that was another commitment I made. I decided to post about my day every day of the challenge. I even posted on day 8, the only day I've missed so far because I didn't feel hot Pilates was the best choice for my body after spending the morning throwing up. Probably a good choice, right? But when she posts, she talks about accountability. She talks about how knowing someone else is getting up, showing up, and pushing through gives you that little extra nudge when you need it most. Just knowing that someone else is out there seeing you and cheering you on as you show up is powerful because being witnessed in your effort can be healing. Being encouraged in your process can be strengthening. Being reminded that you are not alone can help you keep going. Accountability is not just someone checking to see if you did the thing. Healthy accountability is not surveillance, it's support, it's encouragement, it's remembrance. It's someone helping you remember the version of yourself you said you wanted to become. It's someone saying, Sis, I know it's hard, but you are not doing this alone. Solopreneurs and aspiring solopreneurs, listen up. One of the greatest dangers of solopreneurship is isolation. Building alone can distort your perspective. When you are alone too long, discouragement gets louder. When you are alone too long, comparison gets sneakier. When you are alone too long, inconsistency can hide. When you are alone for far too long, fear can start sounding like wisdom. You can start talking yourself out of things that simply need a different type of support. And that is why community matters. That is why connection matters. That is why having people who can lock arms with you matters. Sometimes it's not about needing another strategy. Sometimes you just need a safe person, a safe space, a safe accountability partner. Sometimes you need a room where people know what you're trying to build. Sometimes you need someone to celebrate day 5 with you when day 30 still feels far away. And I had that in her. I have that in her on this journey, and it's amazing. And you just might need that in your business. If you are building a business, pursuing a dream, trying to become healthier, trying to change your habits or heal, or trying to be consistent in something, trying to show up for your purpose, then understand this. You do not have to do it alone. Solopreneur does not have to mean solo in every area of your life. You can be the CEO of your business and still need community. You can be a visionary and still need support. You can be the leader and still need encouragement. You can be strong and still need people. You can be called and still need connection. Listen, I'm halfway through the challenge. I'm speaking from the middle, and that's important because the middle is where most of life happens. Most of business happens in the middle. Most of healing happens in the middle, not during the exciting beginning, not during the polished ending, but in the everyday, ordinary middle where you are still showing up without knowing exactly how everything will turn out. Ladies, you don't have to have a clear picture of exactly every step. Pause. I want you to breathe for a moment. Take our pause. I want you to take a moment to review 3 powerful solopreneur lessons from my 30-day Hot Pilates challenge. Lesson 1, a clear container helps you focus. Clear. 30 days is clear, right? It has a beginning, it has an end. It gives the mind something to hold. And sometimes in business, we are needing that same thing. No vague goals like I need to be more consistent, but clear containers. Like for the next 30 days, I'm going to send my newsletter every week. Lesson 2, accountability helps you keep going when motivation dips. Ladies, there's going to be days when you don't feel like it. There will be days when the excitement wears off. There will be days when life happens. There will be days when your mind starts negotiating, right? That's when accountability becomes a gift. Not because someone is policing you, but because someone is walking with you, reminding you, cheering for you, and saying, we're still in this. Lesson 3, community turns effort into encouragement. There's something grounding about being in process with other women who are also trying to become stronger, healthier, more consistent, more aligned, and more whole. Because when we lock arms together, amazing things happen. We borrow courage from each other. We borrow consistency from each other. We borrow hope from each other. We borrow momentum from each other. And sometimes seeing another woman show up reminds us, hey, we can show up too. There's something deeply meaningful about the right connection showing up at the right time. Sometimes God sends encouragement through people. Sometimes he sends a reminder through someone else's consistency. Sometimes he gives you a partner for the process. He places someone beside you who helps you keep going when your own momentum is wobbly. Ladies, completing this challenge has been about health, definitely, but it's also been about becoming. It's about stewardship. It's about honoring the body I've been given. It's about learning how to support the woman who is carrying the vision. It's about remembering that my wellness is not separate from my purpose. It's about remembering that my body is not an obstacle to my calling. My body is part of how I carry my calling. And that is true for you too. Your wellness is not a side project. Your wellness is part of your life leadership. Your body is part of your business strategy. Your nervous system is part of your capacity. Your relationships are part of your sustainability plan. Your community is a part of your resilience. So when we talk about building sustainable businesses, we cannot only talk about ideas, funnels, offers, content, which platforms to use, which sales strategies to use. We have to talk about you, the builder. Are you well? Are you supported? Are you connected, encouraged, regulated, rested, rooted? Are you trying to build alone when you actually need people beside you? Your vision, your work, your purpose needs you well. Wellness can come through many different channels: movement, rest, prayer, therapy, journaling, nature. And sometimes wellness comes through another woman saying, "Come on, girl, we got this." And that is community. That is no more silos business building. So here's your power pause moment for the week. I want you to think about one goal you are pursuing right now. It doesn't matter what type of goal, it could be directly related to your business or not. Ask yourself, am I trying to do this alone? Do I have a clear commitment or just a vague desire? Do I have a container for this goal? Do I have accountability that feels supportive, not shame based? Who could I lock arms with in this season? What would it look like to let someone encourage me while I keep showing up? And then I want you to choose one small action. Maybe you text someone and say, "Can we check in with each other?" Maybe you join a challenge. Maybe you create your own challenge. Maybe you tell your community what you're working on. Invite someone to walk with you. Ask for support in your business. Maybe you just stop hiding the fact that you are truly moving forward with something. Ladies, remember, you need systems, clear commitments, aligned action, grace. You need people, the right people. You may be a solopreneur or an aspiring one, but you do not have to be a solo dream builder. You do not have to build alone, heal alone, grow alone, pursue consistency alone. Make your powerful, committed decision. And remember, sometimes the strength to keep that decision is found in community. I'm Dr. Nick, and this is Holistic Mental Health for Women Solopreneurs. Take time to pause this week. Take care of you by making whatever commitment you need to your next aligned step. Stay connected with me over at my newsletter, The Pause for Solo, for deeper insights and specific tools and tips on how to do some of what we chat about here on the podcast. The link to subscribe will be in the show notes for this episode. Remember, ladies, a committed decision can start the shift, but community will help keep you going. Until next time, nurture the wholeness within.